Hey folks, welcome back. We're here for you again and bringing the coolest vibes of NBA for you all. There have been many times during the history of this league where a team would appear to win a game, only to see it slip away in the final minutes, even losing series depending on just how much momentum they lost. Rather than stepping up with the game on the line, the players that are usually weak-willed will be exposed before eventually losing that game and potentially the series because of their mistakes. History has always been written by the winners, but it's sometimes the losers that will be the biggest story of that year's postseason. Whether they were a team that lost despite having great expectations, or a team that simply blew a lead late, some of the NBA's biggest playoff stories have come by way of a team choking a game or series away. Let's move forward with our video and have a look at those 10 important matches that flip the win and lose the fate of the team at the last moment. But before we proceed further, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do hit that subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any future NBA content. Number 10. Dirk Nowitzki's missed free throw of 2006 Finals. A career 88% free throw shooter, sharpshooter Dirk Nowitzki stepped to the line for 2 free throws. It was Game 3 of the 2006 NBA Finals, and his Dallas Mavericks had just suffered possibly the worst finals collapse in its storied history, thanks to the antics of Dwayne Wade. Dallas had squandered a 13-point lead with 6 minutes remaining and were now down by 2 points with 3.4 seconds remaining. Luckily, the ball was in the hands of the Mavericks' best free throw shooter. The first one swished, as it did for nearly 90% of that postseason. The 1-point game, the Mavericks weren't done. Not by a long shot. The second one, however, has been imprinted in Nowitzki's memory since 2011, when he finally righted past wrongs. It hit the front of the rim, then the back, and rolled out with the ball landing in the hands of Wade. Dwayne would make one of 2 free throws on the other end, and the Mavericks couldn't get a solid attempt on the offensive end. Number 9. LeBron James, Game 5 versus Boston. It all started out so well too in Game 5 between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. The Cavs took as much as an 8-point lead early in the second quarter, only to see the Celtics storm back. The problem for the Cavaliers was that the Celtics stormed back and then continued to storm ahead before taking a 6-point lead into the half. It still wasn't all that bad since there were another 24 minutes to play and the Cavaliers still had the reigning MVP on their team. We don't think they planned on getting outscored 70-44. The Celtics couldn't miss. And James had no answer as he posted the worst statistical game of his career, with 15 points on a dismal 3 of 14 shooting. This was a turning point of the series as well, considering it was 2-2, with Game 6 going back to Boston. Instead, the Cavaliers suffered their worst home playoff loss in franchise history by losing by 38 points. The Cavaliers would lose the next game, and that would be the end of the LeBron James era for Cleveland. Number 8. LeBron James, Game 4 of the 2011 NBA Finals. It was by far the biggest game of his career. All those failed ventures of attempting to obtain his first championship kept coming up short. But this was LeBron James's time now. He had the supporting cast, the momentum, and the motivation, and he was 48 minutes away from basically securing a title by taking a 3-1 series lead in the NBA Finals. The Heat would lose that game 86-83 to tie the series at 2 games apiece. Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh combined to score 56 points, 67% of the team's total points scored, and the Heat still managed to find a way to lose. To find out how they lost, all you would need to do is look at the box score. More specifically, the box score of James, the biggest game of his career, and James posted a grand total of 8 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, basically the equivalent of what 38-year-old Jason Kidd gives the Dallas Mavericks on a regular basis. Dwayne and Chris were alone that night, and LeBron was in a whole other world as he allowed another opportunity to slip through his fingers. The next few games weren't any more impressive as the Heat dropped 2 more and eventually lose the finals. Number 7. The Lakers give up a 3-1 lead to the Phoenix Suns. This was the Los Angeles Lakers series to win. Not only were they up in their semi-final series against the Phoenix Suns 3-1, but they just gave the Suns a crushing blow when in Game 4, Kobe Bryant forced overtime with a last-second runner, and then went on to hit a difficult jumper in overtime to give the Lakers a commanding series lead. The series went back to Phoenix and the Suns took Game 5 by 17 points. Game 6 came down to the wire, with another game needing overtime, this time coming out in favor of the Suns. The Lakers had momentum following their stunning Game 4 victory and somehow dropped the next two games to lead up to Game 7. It was over by the end of the first quarter as the Suns went up 32-15. They went up by 25 points by the end of the third quarter before taking the series 121-90. Number 6. If leads held, the Los Angeles Lakers could have possibly contended for a four-peat past postseason. Alas, this is the NBA and no lead is safe until the clock reads 0 and the final buzzer has gone off. No team knows that better now than the Los Angeles Lakers, who fell victim to one of the biggest comebacks in finals history. They took a 35-14 after the first quarter, the largest lead after a first quarter in finals history, and led by as much as 24 points in the third quarter. That's when it all went sour for the gold and purple. Boston ended the third quarter on a 21-3 run to cut the deficit to 2 points. The Celtics took the lead once and for all with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. Los Angeles took Game 5, but the Celtics would end the series with a 39-point Game 6 victory at home. Keep yourself tuned in as we discover 5 more amazing games with you all. Hope you guys are enjoying the video, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do it now in order to make sure that you don't miss out on any future NBA content from now on. Number 5. Game 2 of the 2011 NBA Finals. Miami gives it away in 8 minutes. A few bounces the Heat's way and we could be saying a whole different story about the 2011 NBA Finals. With the Miami Heat in full control and Dwayne Wade running down shots from every spot on the court, the Heat held an 88-73 lead with a little over 8 minutes remaining. All the Heat had to do was basically play the same defense the way they'd been playing it and keep the offense flowing through the hot hands of Wade. How did the Heat respond? They played lazy defense and allowed a cold Lebron James to take over on the offensive end. Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Terry led the charge for Dallas as they completed a monumental comeback to take Game 2 95-93. They would win 3 games of the next 4 to take home their first title, while also gaining revenge against the team that had beaten them 5 years prior. Number 4. LeBron James whispers and Gilbert Arenas listens. You truly know just how good a player really is once you see them perform under pressure. With his team up by 1 and a chance to put the game on ice and the series at deadlock, Gilbert Arenas stepped to the line for 2 free throws. He's an 80% career free throw shooter and shot a then career high of 82% from the line in the 2005-06 season. This was sure to be a 3-point lead once Arenas finished off these free throws. Then LeBron James whispered something to Gilbert when he was at the line and he listened. Arenas missed both free throws to keep the game at 113-112. The Cavaliers came back down and Damon Jones hit a corner jumper to give the Cavs a 114-113 win, as well as the series 4-2. Number 3. Nick Anderson misses not 1, not 2, not 3. A career 70% free throw shooter, Nick Anderson was sent to the line on 2 occasions to put Game 1 of the 1995 NBA Finals away. They were playing an upstart Houston Rockets club led by Hakeem Olajuwon and Kenny Smith and had a chance to give the Orlando Magic a 1-0 lead if Anderson made at least 1 of those 4 free throws. They don't call him Nick the Brick because he made them. Anderson missed all 4 free throws and Smith made a 3-pointer on the other end to send the game to overtime. Houston would win the game 120-118 and would win the next 3 games to complete the sweep. Anderson's psyche for the series and the rest of his career was never the same, and Shaquille O'Neal left the Magic the ensuing offseason. Number 2. Portland gives it up to the Los Angeles Lakers. 12 more minutes. All the Portland Trail Blazers needed to do was basically play above-average basketball for the next 12 minutes, and they had the Western Conference Finals wrapped up. They went into the fourth quarter up 71-58 over the Los Angeles Lakers, who were humbled from the start. They were outscored by 7 in the first quarter and by 10 in the third. This was their game. If only they didn't get outscored 31-13 in the most important 12 minutes of the season. A 13-point lead turned into a 5-point deficit that was capped off by an alley-oop from Kobe Bryant to Shaquille O'Neal that sent the team and the raucous Staples Center crowd into a frenzy. Rasheed Wallace's 30-point effort was all for naught as the Blazers were annihilated by the Lakers in the fourth quarter. The Lakers would go on to win the title, and Portland didn't come close to that point since. Number 1. Game 3 of the 2006 Finals. Are the ghosts really gone? Rather than looking at one individual moment this time around, we'll look at Game 3 of the 2006 NBA Finals as a whole. The Dallas Mavericks had won the first 2 games at home and were well on their way to winning a third after pulling out to an 86-73 lead with 6 minutes remaining. A win here and the series was basically over, since no team had ever come back from a 3-0 deficit to take the series. The Mavericks had already planned on their parade route, but they didn't plan on taking on the greatest individual performance in Finals history. Dwayne Wade went bonkers for the next 6 minutes, as he somehow led the Heat to a 98-96 victory. The rest from there is history. The game's thrills gives goosebumps to the fans following it minute by minute. These past games were so a part of an amazing outcome. What do you guys have to say about the last moment you saw any match flipping? Let us know in the comment section down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and thumbs up if you've liked it. And do hit that subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any interesting videos from now on.